Hey, what's going on, guys? Broken Psychoma here. I'm back, finally. I got a decent headset and mic so I can start recording videos again. I won't sound like I'm using a microphone from the 70s, so that's always good. I decided to play some Diablo 3. That's what I've been playing a lot recently, because the expansion's coming out next week, and I'm trying to get my Paragon level up. I'm 64 right now, hoping to be at least 80 by Tuesday. So I figured I'd come in, I'd show you guys what my build is, show you how it works. I'm still using some old gear from prior to Loot 2.0, so a lot of it's kind of redundant. Like this has 3% life on hit, but unfortunately, or life steal. Unfortunately, life steal's been nerfed. This was a new drop. A lot of the new drops seem to have higher main stat and higher vitality. Like this main hand has 318 vitality. That's a lot of vitality. Yeah, but this is my gear. I'm running 2-piece Innas, 2-piece Natalias. For a monk, that's usually pretty good because you get crit bonus and you get dexterity. You could run 3-piece Natalias. I don't know what you would replace. Maybe the belt, if you can get a decent Natalia's belt. But actually, I don't even know if there's a Natalia's belt, so maybe not. Maybe the gloves. Yeah, you could probably do the gloves if you can get good crit. But I have a lot of crit, so it's been hard for me to give up my gear. So I got 44% crit chance and 446 crit damage, which isn't bad. Alright, anyway, for the build, I'm calling this build the Blender, because it relies heavily on keeping all of the mobs condensed into a nice area and making the most of the damage there. So for my primary, I used Deadly Reach just because of the rune, the Foresight rune. Every third hit increases your damage of your attacks by 15% for 3 seconds. So I'm trying to use as many abilities as I can that increase damage overall. So this build is very good for groups, especially if there's a lot of AoE. I'm using Mantra of Conviction with Intimidation, so I get increased damage from the mantra, and then the Activate increases my damage as well. I'm using Inner Sanctuary with Forbidden Palace. That means, so when I suck all the enemies in, with the Forbidden Palace rune, they take 30% extra damage and their movement speed is reduced by 80%, and everyone inside takes 55% less damage, which is really helpful, especially against blues and yellow mobs. Cyclone Strike is the winner here. I decided to put Sunburst on it just so I could deal a little bit of extra damage. You can also use the one that increases the vortex range, so it sucks them in from farther, but I like the Cyclone because it's just a little bit of extra damage to throw in there, and it's probably my hardest hitting single move in this because a lot of the other abilities are more utility than anything else. I'm using Sweeping Wind. This one's kind of, you can use whatever rune you want on it. I chose Blade Storm because it just increases the overall damage at 3 stacks by a little bit more. A lot of people prefer Cyclone, but I decided I'd try Blade Storm, and it fits the whole blender idea a little bit better, I think. And then last is Blinding Flash with Faith in the Light, which it increases the damage dealt by an additional 29%. So that just increases damage even more. This Mantra of Conviction and Inner Sanctuary all affect all other players, but Blinding Flash and Deadly Reach only increase the damage I deal. So these two help anyone else in my party, but these two only help me. But it's still extra damage. For my passives, I have to use one with everything because in the old gear I stacked a lot of fire resist, I think. So I have to use this to get my resistances up. So they're all nice and high, or else I would die too fast. I decided to go with Resolve to decrease damage reduction on myself, just to make it a little bit easier to survive. And I decided to go with Exalted Soul, just because I'm going to be spamming Cyclone Strike a lot, and it is pretty expensive. It's 50 Spirit, so I wanted to have a larger Spirit pool. You could easily choose Beacon of Utar is actually pretty nice because you can reduce the cooldown of Inner Sanctuary and Blinding Flash by a little bit. I used that for a little while, but then I decided Exalted Soul was probably better. You could also use Seize the Initiative for some more damage reduction. which actually, that might not be a bad idea instead of resolve. Let me see. Oh yeah, that brings my toughness up by quite a bit. I think I might stick with that actually. It's nice and helpful. Alright, so let's go in. We're at a good part, 'cause I'm in this part of the story that I'm playing right now. I'm going to the Fields of Misery, which is a great place to show off a build. Like I said, this build is more group huggy, because it keeps everything centralized. I don't deal a whole lot of damage. Monks are way bigger utility. I deal 170k, which isn't bad. It's not too shabby for a monk, but definitely not as high as something like a wizard or a demon hunter who are going to be dealing 250k plus damage, which is insane. Alright, so essentially the whole idea is you get Cyclone Strike going, you get Sweeping Wind going, and you just spam Cyclone Strike, put down your Inner Sanctuary whenever you have it, Blinding Flash whenever it's open, you just keep sucking them into the center, and it'll deal maximum damage. It's a pretty survivable build. It doesn't rely heavily on it. It does struggle because it requires me to stand still for a lot, so unfortunately against elites and stuff that have some like Plagued or Arcane Enchanted or Plague Enchanted where I have to move out of the way, it kind of is annoying, but it does well. It does okay. I can survive in those things for a little while, but yeah, like I said, I don't deal a ton of damage, so this is more for groups, but it's a really good group build. It's very... keeps everything nice and neat. You don't have to worry about chasing mobs down. It's actually nice if you fear them by accident. If someone has fear, you just kind of suck them right back in. And yeah, like I said, Cyclone Strike is my hardest hitting move in this build. It's dealing upwards of 2 mil if I have all of the debuffs on my enemies at the time. I think, well, not in this current year. If I was running with my Scorn, which I wouldn't for this build, it would probably do upwards of 2.5 million damage when it crits, which is really annoying. But as of right now, it's just 800k crit on normal enemies, so it's not too bad. I'm playing in Torment 3. Torment 4 I can do in a group. I can't solo it at the moment. My gear is still pretty bad. A lot of the new gear that's been dropping since the 2.0 is a lot better, but there's so much crit, I don't want to give it up. It's really tough. But yeah, this is the build. I hope you guys enjoyed. It's a fun one. Good for group play. Okay for solo, but I would definitely prefer this builds for solo. Actually, you know what? Let's see if I can find a magic and kill it. I can cut until I find one. Lord only knows how long that's going to take. Alright, so found one. Avenger Vortex, Flex Damage Desecrator. So that's not bad. It's not too hard. It's not really super easy. Flex Damage is kind of annoying because a lot of times I will accidentally kill myself with Flex Damage. Actually, how the build works. So every now and then ooh, Vortex, that sucks. So every now and then I will have to run out, especially because I got that fucking big green dude. But yeah, I don't do well against like Desecrator and stuff. Unfortunately. The only thing that saves me a lot of the times is Inner Sanctuary, because it'll give me that nice 55% damage reduction, which is huge. Really good. So you see, he deals a decent amount of damage. We got 2 out of 3 of them down in a very, very short period of time. So damage isn't bad, but it's not great. Could be better. I could have got him down a lot faster. And in group, he would have taken him down in no time at all, because they would all just got wrecked by all the AoE damage. But yeah, that's a pretty good example. We didn't get too tough of an enemy, so it didn't take me forever to kill him. I didn't have to run away too much, but you know, sometimes you have to run away, kite him around a little bit, be a little more tactical. Since they nerfed lifesteal, you can't just sit there and tank it anymore, which is a damn shame. That was so good. I loved it. Alright guys, well, that's it for this build. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you later.